really happened during the Master IEP Coach Mentorship and Leadership Virtual Conference this past month. You know, it was an amazing experience, and I can't wait to share with you 3 takeaways that I have from the Master IEP Coach Mentorship experience. Welcome to the Special Education Inner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Catherine Witcher, and let's dig into the 3 C's that happened during the Master IEP Coach Conference. So here's what the Master IEP Coach Conference looked like. It was 5 days. It was 2 hours of training per day. So 1 during the day, 1 at night, because the Master IEP Coach Mentorship is built for parents, teachers, admins, and therapists who sit at an IEP table, which means that everybody has different roles. Some work during the day, some have daytime availability. I don't know. You know what it's like, right? So you sit at the IEP table. Everybody has a different schedule. So our mentorship program is definitely meant to fit all schedules. So this virtual conference, everybody got their swag boxes. A lot of people pre-ordered them. So they were ready wearing their shirts and their fleeces, and they had all of their swag and they were ready to dig in. So we did Master IEP Coach panels during the afternoon session. So during the day. And that was a group of Master IEP coaches who are experienced in advance, and they shared their expertise, everything from inclusion, parent input statements, parent advocacy letters, teaching strategies, teacher strategies to build trust between home and school, all the topics that we need, but you don't find them in the books or the blogs. It's really real life experience that makes the difference in these areas. And that's what our mentorship and our conference was about. So we shared those. And then at night at 7 p.m. every night, I jumped on Zoom and brought everybody in. We did a deep dive into strategies and all the different Master IEP Coach methods that are inside of the conference. So throughout that, I've spent a couple of days reflecting, and I'm like, these 3 things keep on popping up as the most talked about or the most valuable experiences from this conference. And I wanted to share them with you. So the first thing is communication. Over and over and over, it did not matter what we were talking about, whether it was inclusion, writing IEP goals, troubleshooting, building trust, taking data, all of the things. Even when it came to building your business as a Master IEP coach. So many Master IEP coaches are consistently working full-time or part-time in their role as a Master IEP coach. And this communication of being able to share what is happening in special education. So that could be a teacher communicating with home communicating with school, a Master IEP coach communicating to the community of what they are doing to serve special education families and teachers. This communication, and we've had this communication breakdown and communication overload. Right? So because of everything that has happened in the last 2 years, all of these new experiences, all of the things that we have been through, we've been in this communication overload, and it feels exhausting. But what has happened in a lot of different areas is that we're not communicating enough because we're tired, or we're not communicating well because we assume the other side knows what we're talking about. So really fine-tuning your communication, that would be an awesome focus for all of us, is really making sure that we are being clear and we're not afraid of communication. A lot of times that happens in special educations. We get afraid to share because what is the other person going to say or do? But communication is key. Now, written communication, we all know the line, like if you didn't write it down, it didn't happen. Written communication absolutely needs to be happening. But now I want to take it even next level. You have to remember that your verbal communication is really important because we've lost a lot of this human touch. We've lost a lot of our relationships in the way that they were before, right? So verbal communication is very important. The other thing is a lot of times we're talking about communication in a very formal way. Like we are talking about IEPs, and this is how we communicate about the goals or communicate about. We need to remember communicate our feelings in a way that is productive. We also need to be able to communicate our thank yous. Could we please say more thank yous in special education, right? So just communicating casually is okay. It's okay, and it needs to be encouraged, and we need to be rebuilding relationships, and communication is going to be huge in that. So I'm not just talking about your standard home to school, journal and notebook to talk about, what the child ate or what the child learned that day, but how can you level up your communication to make sure that it is focused on building a relationship and making sure that little troubles don't turn into big troubles. So communication. The second takeaway is consistency. There's a big lack of consistency, right? There always has been in special education. And now it's like, are we virtual? Are we in person? Do we have this rule? Do we have that rule? Just all these different things are really interfering with our consistency, including staff shortages. So one of the things that we were talking about in our Master IEP Coach mentorship was how we can't overpromise and underdeliver. That causes a huge amount of problems, right? When we overpromise and we underdeliver in any field, in any experience, you overpromise and underdeliver, somebody's going to be upset. So it's important for you to set the standard of where you can be consistent. And this is for both home and school. So parents, when it comes to what you're going to be doing to support your child or to communicate with school, what is the level that you can be consistent at? Don't promise something 5 days a week and then only be able to do it on Fridays, because then guess what? People think that you don't care or that it's not important. And it might be very important. It's just been hard to be consistent. Same thing for our school team. We need to make sure that you're consistent. Don't promise something. And I'm not talking about don't say, well, the IEP says you have to do this 5 days a week, but I can't do that 5 days a week, so I'm only going to do it 3. You can't make a choice on some things. Some things are mandated. That means that you may need to revisit what was originally written. So don't break the rules and just decide what the level of service or the level of communication or the level of support is going to be. You don't always have flexibility in that. You always have the opportunity to talk about it. But when we're talking about all the little things, yeah, sure, I'll send you a text every day and let you know how lunchtime went. Don't promise that if you can't do it. Okay? So you need to have, what can you provide consistently? This also means, remember, I just talked about staff shortages. I brought that up, right? This means that how you wrote the IEP a year ago, which was written on the other IEP, well, it was built upon the IEP that was written the year before that, okay? We're used to writing IEPs in a certain way, and things look differently right now. So we may need to write them differently. I did not say lower expectations. I did not say lower services. I did not say take anything away. What I said is different. We say all the time in our community, different is not less. Different. You might need to provide speech therapy differently. You might need to provide resource minutes differently. Inclusion might look different. Things might need to be, please communicate. That was the first one, right? Please communicate, and please make sure that whatever you're working on, you can be consistent. So if you think right now about what some of the struggles are, what are the things that are stressing you out, it's probably because A, you haven't communicated a whole lot, or you haven't received the communication, right? And B, there's no consistency. This happens sometimes. It doesn't happen sometimes. I don't know what to think about this. And that causes a whole lot of stress. So we need better communication. We need to make sure that we're consistent. And here's the third one, the huge one. This was at a whole different level than I've ever experienced before. And it was virtual, but it's community. I had special education teachers and parents that were literally almost in tears, showing up and being surrounded, like tears of relief of here are my people. I don't have to over-explain myself. I'm going to celebrate with them. I'm going to share with them. I'm going to make progress with them. I'm going to just do life with them, even if it's through a screen right now. Now, we have a live VIP weekend in person that's happening in Milwaukee, because our Master IEP Coach program, it's an online mentorship experience where you can do it any time of year, anytime. Sign up. You're ready? Sign up. Come in. We're ready. We're waiting for you. Then we have virtual events that happen where we're like, okay, everybody who's here, let's gather up. Let's learn together. Let's have this community experience. And then at least once a year, sometimes twice a year, we we have live events in person. We're not just, writing IEPs together. No, like we're going on a cruise boat with a taco bar. Okay, because these are people that you can feel comfortable with, that understand your level of exhaustion. They understand your level of celebration when you need to celebrate things that other people don't realize how hard it was to get there. So this community, if you are doing special education alone, stop. We've got people for you. Now, here's the thing. Our community is collaborative. They are all different roles at the IEP table. So parents, teachers, admins, therapists, they are the idea bringers, solution finders, team builders. Like you got to have that mindset. So here's the thing. If you were not ready for that, if you were thinking like, nope, I'm not ready for that. I want to talk about due process. I want to talk about state complaints. I want to talk about, just things that are more of that legal side of things that cause a lot of strife in our community. We're probably not the right community for you. But if you're like, I know the law exists and I know the purpose of the law. The purpose of the law is to provide a free and appropriate education to meet a child's unique needs and to prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living. I know that. And I want to be around people that, we have to take care of the negative stuff. Yes, we have to get through sticky conversations. Yes, we need some strategies to make sure that things go the right way. And sometimes it gets a little bit tense, a little bit ugly. Sometimes we have to get through some conflict, right? But we're always about preserving the bridge, not burning the bridge, even through the toughest situations. If you're like, I want that. Like I'm tired of where I'm at and I need to be someplace different. That's our community. Our community is always looking for the solution that's going to be in the best interest of the child. And how can we get there as fast as possible? So I want to share one of the wins that happened right during conference. It was amazing. I loved it so much. We have a parent who joined the Master IEP Coach Mentorship. She joined for herself. She didn't want to run a business right away. She's like, I can't help anybody else right now. I just need to help myself. And we have a lot of parents and teachers who join just for that. They're like, this is great that I'm going to have the option to be paid as an IEP expert in the future if I want it. Right now, not ready. Cool. Got it. She comes in, she starts her modules inside of the mentorship because those are all self-paced. So she starts the modules. She shows up to the first couple of days of conference. So she's getting this live experience. And we talked about wins. We always talk about our wins, worries, and struggles. Okay. So wins and worries. And so she shares a win. She says, I just went to my child's IEP meeting and used just the information from these first few days of working there. We just had the best IEP meeting ever that she's ever experienced. That's it. That's it right there. Did she get a perfect IEP? Probably not. Did she get everything she wanted, the sun, the moon, and the stars? Probably not. Did she walk away knowing that her child was the focus and that the team worked together and they got through some of the difficult conversations to get to what the child needs right now? Yes, she did. And that is amazing. So I want to remind you guys that there's three things that you can do. I know that you feel stuck. I know that you have wins that you want to celebrate that people don't know about because they just wouldn't get it. I know you have worries, things that are just worrisome. And I know that you have things that you're working on. Like, I want this to be better. I want to do more. I want to do different. All right. You have to remember these three things. This is a starting point: communication, consistency, and get in a community. I hope that it's ours. If it's not ours, gosh, just find a community. You can go head over to masteriepcoach.com and find where our community is at. Learn more about the Master IEP Coach Mentorship. Get some of these resources that I've been talking about so you can get free weekly IEP trainings. You can find out how to become a Master IEP Coach. That's all over at masteriepcoach.com. And again, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, I'm going to ask you to please go and hit a 5-star review. I'm telling you, every time we get a review, Apple sends this out to more parents and teachers who need help making special education a better place for our children, a better place for outcomes, a better place for our teachers, a better experience for our families. Just people who need other people who are on the same path. So I truly appreciate that 5-star review so we can reach more teachers and more families. I'll see you over at masteriepcoach.com. And don't forget, you got your 3 C's written down? Communication, consistency, and community. I'll see you guys soon.